Good afternoon. Welcome to PRMIA webinar. This is Fahad Zafar. Today we have Mr. Shabbar Zaidi, a very well-known name in Pakistani financial sector, to talk about risk to the Pakistani economy. Welcome, Mr. Shabbar. My first question to you is Pakistani economy on a verge of collapse or default?
By and large being corrected. We are concentrating on more uh, on the industrial and the construction side rather than trading side, because Pakistan was made almost a trading country, which we can't afford to, and the things are moving, in my view, a very right direction. Uh, the uh, the way it was being run is different. The second thing is that the world economy is changing in favor of Pakistan. Why I'm saying in favor of Pakistan means that the Pakistanis were transferring a lot of money out of Pakistan through legal and illegal means, and they were parking it outside the Pakistan. Now, not because of our doing, because of the international scene, it is very difficult to keep undocumented money outside Pakistan. The flow of the money has stopped. It is not because of any patriotism. It is not because of any nationalism. It is not because of any sincerity. It is because the world outside is not conducive to the bad kind of money which used to move around from Pakistan. Thirdly is that still we are not able to manage Dubai, UAE. We are trying our best, and within the very near future, this UAE syndrome will also be sorted out. And when the FATF and the other institutions will ask these test havens and the non-law countries like UAE, then with those Pakistanis who have a flats and properties and business there, they will regret that why they went there. Should I continue, or I can ask?
Please continue, sir. Please continue.
So the question is that it is my view, maybe people may disagree. It is my view that Pakistan has been very badly run from 1990 to 2018 or 20. Very, very badly run. It has been made a country for the elitist and for trading country. Everybody is involved in consumerism. We have shifted from a slightly more nominal industrial base to a trading state. For example, in 1960s and 70s, even 80s, all the shoes for the children going to school was made by service or Bata. Now 100% are made by Chinese. The Chinese under invoicing and the China trade, people don't understand the loss and the difficulty the Chinese trade has created for us. They are our friend. Yes, we agree with the friend, but there are certain trade practices which are there are not conducive to what we are seeing, and we have to be very clear that we cannot be complacent with our relationship with China as far as trade is concerned. They have to cut down the means the way they advise the goods. Secondly, we should develop, and we are developing very, very close relationship with the West, because of the reason that they are our buyers of the commodities and our export products, and we should stop this nonsense of saying everything bad about the West, as we have learned up in the last 25 years. So we should not be involved in these kind of things. The West is our consumer, China is our supplier. So every sensible businessman will like to keep their buyers happy rather than their suppliers happy. So this fundamental error, I would say error, is being corrected, and very soon I will also like to see very close very important development in the regional trade, and Pakistan's economy is not going to anything wrong. But at the same time, let me tell you that everybody, I would say, 90% of your businessmen will say that we are going in a wrong direction, because now their pockets are being touched, and they don't have any good place to park their money, and their investments in UK, US, Canada, and UAE are losing, so they are desperate. So the my message to all the people of Pakistan, that uh, don't be so sentimental about that something very crucial is going to happen in Pakistan. Nothing is going to happen, and the things are in totally in control. The Our condition in COVID is much better than the rest of the place in the world. But what I'm saying, that, and secondly, this change in the paradigm is not related to particular government. It is because the was Pakistan had enough of the useless economic premises, which of the uh, complete free trade and thing like that. These are useless items, and even the West people in the West are thing. The basic thing, the basic risk of Pakistan is that there are some, I would say, I should don't want to use the word, but it's a very strong word. There are some foolish economists of Pakistan who say that the government should be smaller. The government in the developing country can never be smaller. The government in the developing country should be large in the sector of health, in the sector of education, in the sector of public transport, in the sector of housing. These are stupid agents of the multinationals and the public private partnership type people, who don't understand that the governments in the underdeveloping countries have to be big in these things. The government should be small in business, but the government cannot be small in health. The government cannot be small in education. The government cannot be small in transport, public transport. Government cannot be small in housing. So the free government and free trade and lesser government, this was the agenda of the of from coming from a particular mindset in the West. And inshallah ta'ala, if we remain relevant in the society, we will not allow thing to happen. And this Pakistan is a underdeveloping country. And if we go around the history of the world around in the last 25 years, the only man we will remember in the economic scene in the world is Mr. Deng Xiaoping, who has converted a communism into a communist capitalism in a communist state. So Mr. Deng Xiaoping is our mentor, I would say, not the people somewhere in Harvard or Cambridge saying living in a different world. So we are very clear what we are doing, and the best thing, notwithstanding all the defects of or the weaknesses of the present regime, especially the prime minister, the one of the best thing, one of the best attribute he has got is that he does not suffer inferiority complex against the West. The Pakistan's problem is that we had a inferiority complex against the West. We feel that they are a very civilized society, and we are an uncivilized society, or we are something uneducated or something like that. The Imran Khan being an educated in the West, we have been working with the West the whole of our life. We know their weaknesses, we know our strengths. So we are talking to them, maybe a poor nation, but in equal terms. So Imran Khan may be wrong, but he's at least has no inferiority complex about himself personally. So that is very, very important. It's very, very important for the national morale, that you should talk with confidence. That's a very important part of the whole thing. And let me just on a slightly on a lighter side, I would say I was the happiest person when I saw the barbed wire and the 15,000 security in the inauguration of US government president. They used to say that we are uncivilized, we don't know what is democracy, we don't know how to work the politics. Now with 15,000 security guards and uh, the barbed wire in the Washington, I'm not saying there is something wrong, but the message is very simple, that We are a very civilized nation. We are not Talibans. We are not uneducated people. We are slightly more educated than the average person in the West. So, and Chinese, both. So, our only cultural competition is now with India. No, the remaining are useless for us. They are not relevant for us. Our competition in the future world will be human resources as with India, not China. China will take another 40 years to learn English, and English will be the future language. China will have to learn the uh, uh, the Anglo-Saxon law, the contract law. They are working without any law. They are working without any corporate system. Yes, the growth is there, but that is they need to sustain the thing. So what I am saying that if you look at the whole paradigm of the present world, that Pakistan and India, I would say Indian subcontinent is going to be the leader of the future world. Unfortunately, very, very unfortunately, we are fighting among ourselves, and we are destroying our culture, our attributes, our positive aspects, and we try to at times lean towards Middle East, who are practically and culturally very uncivilized nation, and they have no root for democracy. They have no root for any corporate law. They have no root for any law. They are like a tribal society. The Amir's degree is the final law. It's an insult on the human being, that the decree of a of a Amir is now in the present day is considered to be a constitution. So we unfortunately we have been going too close with them. So that has spoiled our culture, that has spoiled our youth mentality, and things and other things like that. I personally feel that the people of the subcontinent are far ahead in all these things. And although it's not a subject, but let me tell you, although it's related to political economy, the present religion which is followed in Saudi Arabia, and the present religion which is followed in Iran, in both the cases, the Indo-Pak people are older in those two religions, and we have got more books and more knowledge about those religions than those people have. So we should be Pakistanis should try to understand that their future lies in Pakistan. And I said to and in one of the relevant webinar, I said to and quoted one of the examples, that one day a very senior industrialist of Pakistan called me and said that the industrialists of Pakistan who have shifted their money and have got the Baltis and Hungarian and Cyprian nationality and the Canadian nationality, ask them to bring the money back, because the time will come when the Maltese and the Hungarian will say, leave this money here, leave the passport here, and go back. And this will happen. It may not happen today, but it may happen tomorrow. It may happen day after tomorrow. The only safe place is Pakistan. You can well imagine that when the west will collide with China, what will happen with Singapore? What will happen with Singapore? We don't understand. So what I'm saying, the geopolitical and economic scene is totally in favor of Pakistan. If we destroy ourselves with our own hands, that is our position. And as far as the local economy is concerned, we are in a gestation period. And as you must have seen, I have said in the last week, and I just yesterday I also tweeted that the 5,000 rupee notes should be demonetized. The lockers should be uh, kept under control. The dollar purchase and sale should be controlled, and this siphoning of the money left, right, and center should be stopped. So the things are very clear. The broadsheet and things like that which are happening, they are very, and you must be knowing, I wrote a book, Panama Leak: A Blessing in Disguise. Now I agree with Imran Khan that broadsheet is a blessing in disguise. Because you said that this man is bad, and then you said that no, now I want to make him interior minister. This has proved what we have been saying. And what he's been saying, these are all fraud people. They are all fraud. There is nothing like accountability in the past, and it was a farce. Our firm was engaged in the investigations against HUPCO. Then there was a compromise, and the investigation was stopped. So these are all rubbish things which has happened, and the broadsheet is very good, and it will make the horizon of the Pakistani people broader than what it is today. Lastly, what I want to say, that Pakistan has to decide that what is its model for governance in future. Governance, not only on the political side but on the economic side also. The first and the primary thing is to decide that whether we want the multinationals and the foreigners to invest in Pakistan. I would like foreign investment, I would like foreign technology, but only in those technology which are not available in Pakistan. We cannot ask Pepsi to sell chips in Pakistan. We cannot ask someone to sell biscuits in Pakistan. We cannot ask someone to sell apples in Pakistan. I would love to do that, but provided I have not got dollars. But in Pakistan, we don't have dollars, so we cannot have this kind of luxury. And those people who want to have this kind of luxury, the best place for them is to stay in Dubai, only 1 hour 40 minutes flight. So this country is not for them, and this is now for sure. And when I see the leaders of Pakistan who wear this Gucci brands and these sandals and the purses and the shawls, then I feel really ashamed that we are living in this society where the people don't have basic necessities, and the leaders who say that they are the leaders of Pakistan are living a life which is not acceptable to a common man of Pakistan. Is not affordable. They can't even think about it. So this deficiency is too big. The difference is too big, and very soon I wonder that there may be mobs outside defense Lahore who can burn all the cars which is coming out, because the difference maybe is too large. This cannot survive. Yes, the risk of Pakistan is the risk for Pakistan as a state. There's no risk. As a society, there is a risk that one day the people of the Kachi Abadi between Defense and Mal Road may burn the cars which are coming from Defense to the Mal Road. This is quite possible, and I can foresee if we don't correct it, it will happen. So this is the risk of Pakistan. There's no other risk as Pakistan is concerned.
So, what are your thoughts on the external debt? Are we in a debt trap,
No,
or we are
sir.
going towards a debt trap?
No, sir. The question is that we have got 100 billion rupees debt, only around 105. Let's 105. We have got, if the take the size of Pakistan economy, 105 is not a big debt. The debt trap will only be there when we have a continuous current account deficit. We have a current account positive for last 5 months, and inshallah we will have continuously. This is what I started from, that we have determined that import will have to be curtailed, has to be curtailed. There is no second point on that. We cannot afford Honda Civic Gadi without deletion program. We have to have a deletion program. We cannot afford that the seats and everything are imported. Once you can have a best car in Pakistan, but then there has to be proper deletion program. We as a country cannot afford this kind of luxury. Yes, and I believe that the duties on the CKD should be tripled and increased, and the duty for the CKD of the over 1000 cc cars should be brought to zero. But the cars are not the answer for the public transport in any big city in the world now. Car is a liability, not an asset. So people will in the future days, people will not be traveling in the car. They want public transport. So this unnecessary social things should be thing, and it is going naturally that the Pakistani society, which is composed of the very high, the large number of the young people, is going towards a cultural change. We had a very uh, intense negative impact of the faith on the culture of the people that has subsided very seriously, and now people have realized that the future of the mankind uh, does lie on a simple common sense, which is also the faith. So they are now not ready to be radicalized anymore. I think I am quite clear on this, and this is going to happen. So the ultimate future of the society is not in danger. The country is not in danger. The structure is not. And let me, although it's slightly political, let me tell you, the area which is called Pakistan is a geographical entity for at least 2,500 years, even more than that. This is Indus Valley. It is not Sindh, Punjab, Balochistan, or frontier. This is a Sindh Indus Valley. It is totally different from Gangetic Valley. They have never been one country. So these are natural things. And if we feel that this country has been made on the basis of some slogan for Muslim nationality, then it means that we have not read the history. If we have 180 million Muslims in India, then India is the second largest, biggest Muslim state in the world. So this useless rhetoric has to be subsided, and we have to understand that the Indus Valley and the this Indus saga, which that is like as Hassan has said, the will continue, and there is no boundary between Sadqabad and Mipru Hello, and there's no boundary between Attak and Miyawali. They are same people, same language, same culture, something different. So these lines were drawn by the imperial people, and inshallah ta'ala, very soon we will eliminate that.
So, what are your thoughts on the PIA's aircraft seizure in Malaysia, and then there's the British Virgin Island BVI court's order against Roosevelt Hotel, and such kind of things going around? Are
So I cannot dilate too much on these things. I can slightly say on the PIA, the Malaysia issue, but on the Recodic and the other one, the Roosevelt, I will not like to comment because both are my clients. Recodic was my client, as well as
okay.
this other one is my Roosevelt is my client. And let me assure you, I have written a tweet also. I have said that there should be a commercial dialogue, and I am 100% confident that it will be done. As far as the PIA is concerned, PIA is in the mess, and it is need to be settled. But let me tell you that PIA is not suffering from any. I say there are, but PIA's losses are not due to any excess staff or anything called inefficiency. PIA is suffering the uh, is suffering the effect of I would say control of our airfields, air rights by the Middle Eastern airlines. PIA is suffering Emirates. PIA is suffering Etihad. If you just name me one country where you don't have a natural hub for the airline. If you allow Emirates to have 6 flights to Karachi, and PIA to have only 2 flights, and that also on the odd time, so you cannot run an airline. So this mess which has been created by the open air policy by Mr. Marhum Ziaul Haq Saab, this is a deliberate attempt to destroy the country. They have destroyed the country. Mian Nawaz Sharif's open air policy was a destruction for the country. and they don't know what they've done, but we know what they did and why they did it. So it's not very difficult thing to understand. We know why PIA is bad. I had been the auditor of PIA. I have been the advisor of the PIA. PIA's employees are more, but the employee cost is not significant. The problem with PIA is that you ask, there is just tell me, when you go to Turkey, do you have any airport to go except Istanbul? You go to Istanbul and then go to through Turkish Airlines. When you go to by Emirates to Toronto, they only go to one city. When Emirates go to America, in such a big country like America, they only have one or two cities. We are too generous because we wanted our home in Dubai, and we allowed them 3, 4, 5, and 6 stations in Pakistan, and then we say the PIA is not working. This is rubbish. PIA is working. The PIA has been made not to work by the Pakistani policies. And the best thing for PIA is that people say that this will be private management and this and that and that. Let me tell you which of the magnate or the gem of Pakistan corporate world has not been in the PIA board. All your jewels have worked there. It is rubbish. They are waste of time, and they have been. This is simple logic that when this is just like you are asking someone to by you are asking him to swim, and you have tied the hands. So PIA, I agree totally, should be not be the government business to airline, but PIA and a Pakistani airline is not a bad idea. And if somebody wants to understand what is the nature of the aviation, please read the case of Shaheen Air. Shaheen Air was the Air Force company. How and which price it was sold, what we did, what the Canadian investor did. The Pakistanis are not facing any problem of any sort by any other person. We are ourselves intellectually corrupt people. We don't like to be honest in our thinking. We don't like to be honest in our actions, and and as I said earlier, we lack simple what you call self confidence. These people are not educated in the West. They have not seen the West. They are the product of the third class schools of Pakistan, and they feel, when they go to Dubai and they would go to New York, when they go to London, they feel that we are like animals, and these people of the West or the Dubai are such some good people. So it is a cultural issue, not an economic issue. And once this cultural issue will be settled, everything will be settled.
So, what are your thoughts on the energy crisis? IPPs versus with negotiations with the government.
There is no energy crisis. This is the financial crisis. In Pakistan, as I said in one day earlier, that Pakistan has got more capacity to generate energy, and we are not producing. I think we have the capacity of something like 28,000 or 30,000 megawatts, but we are not producing more than 20 because we don't have money to generate. And in this subject also, we are lying with the nation. And the lie with the nation is that you all say that WAPDA has been unbundled. You have unbundled WAPDA, and now there is a WAPDA, there is a PEPCO, there is CPPA, there are GENCOs, and there are DISCOs. This is all fraud. And I have written 2 articles in Business Recorder that this is a fraud. WAPDA has not been unbundled. All the entities are totally reliant on each other. Their accounts are false, and this is just a rubbish to befool the World Bank that we have unbundled WAPDA. Just call sometime in a webinar the chairman of the WAPDA and ask him what is the structure of the electricity in Pakistan. This is a state 110% state subsidized system. There is no DISCO. And if you remember 5 or 6 years ago, we used to say FESCO will be privatized. ISCO will say this is This was the biggest crime which was done, because I said to one of my client came and say, we want to bid for Fesco. I said this cannot be sold for another 30 years, because this is not an independent entity. This is actually a farce, which we call unbundling of WAPDA. Is a complete farce. Show me one disco which is profitable. In Faisalabad, we have got 6 billion profit in Fesco and 58 billion subsidy. What you are taking? I said to Minister last week that the only way to correct this energy crisis is to bring everything on public. Publicize the accounts of discos, publicize the account of Genco, publicize the account of CPPA, publicize the account of WAPDA, and you will see. And let me tell you, the problem is very simple. Our industrialists don't want to pay the cost of energy, so we have to provide them energy at a lower cost. We have a 2 rupee, 3 rupees difference is still on the overall cost of production and overall cost of billing. So differential is to be borne by the government. And if you must have read my article in the last 2-3 weeks ago, I wrote that Pakistan will be paying 1,000 billion rupees subsidy in energy for another 5 years. If somebody thinks it will not be there, then he has not read accounting. He's a fool. He doesn't know anybody. And Pakistan will be paying 1,000 billion rupees subsidy in energy for another 5 years. And for me, there's nothing wrong in it. If that energy subsidy leads to more export and more production and more employment, I am happy. This is a government job to run the economy, not to a particular company. These IPPs, all these IPPs are principally frauds. They are anybody investing in IPP is actually buying a government bond. When you install the IPP, you are actually buying a government bond. Means the government is guaranteeing the return. The government is buying the electricity. Government is providing you furnace oil. So what foolish is this? Your government has provided you guarantee to buy the electricity. They have provided the guarantee to provide the furnace oil. They are paying you a fixed return. So what is there? It's a simple buying a bond. It's simple. You buy a government bond. It's an IPP. The only thing I bring the dollar and buy a bond. So it is a 17% return bond. As simple as that. HAPCO is a 17% dollar dominated bond. Simple. It's not rocket science. There's no rocket science. So those who say that IPP is a private investment and things like that, and these are all stupid statements. These are farce things, and we just waste our time in these things. But unfortunately, let me tell you, the worst part of the Pakistan economics is the Pakistan Economics Academia. They are living in some paradise somewhere. I don't know where they are living. I have yet to see any sensible product by any university of Pakistan on the Pakistan economy, including LUMS. Just give me one book, one paper which understand Pakistan business. I feel that 90% of the students of LUMS have not seen Sutra Mandi Faisalabad or Azamkot Market Lahore, and they write about Pakistan economics. They should be sent to San Francisco. And that is why none of them will ever work in an industry. They will always go to multinational, and it's a complete waste of time. So this academia is a failure. The biggest failure of Pakistan is the academia in the economic side. I am not an economist. I am an accountant. Why I engage myself in economics? Because the economists of Pakistan, what they do on a lighter side is say they wake up in the morning and they open the website of IMF and World Bank and Washington Post and New York Times, and from there they understand what is Pakistan, and then they talk in the evening in the parties and in their social gatherings. So they should not be serious. They should be sent to mental asylum. 90% of people tell me this is Financial Post has written this, New York Times has written this, IMF report is saying this. this world report is saying this. You go to Azamkot market, you go to Sutar Mandi, you go to Sadar in Karachi, you go to Raja Bazar. What you are saying? You go to the registrar office in DHA, you understand what is happening in the property business. This is all farce. This is all rubbish. This should all be closed. This Pakistan, just tell me one person, whenever we have a budget, every year we have a budget, just tell me one person from the economic faculty of any university who appears on any media and provides a single sentence of any sense on any matter. Yesterday, Dr. Shah Khan was arguing that 5,000 rupee note should not be demonetized. I will ask Dr. Saab how many times he has visited Raja Bazar. Does he know what is happening in Raja Bazar? Just saying that India has a problem, and I asked him why you are agreeing. He said India had a problem. I say, what if India had a problem? We sort it out. So just for the reason that India had a problem, we should stop it. We should allow the people to have a 5,000 bonds, 5,000 rupee notes. Why there is no big denomination note in America? Tell me. Why? What is the highest denomination note in UK? What is the highest denomination note in Euro? What is this useless arguments? And we're sitting in Islamabad under the green fields and Margala Hill, and then you are deciding the Pakistan economy. These people should be sent to asylum. Pakistan will be okay.
Okay. And sir, what are your thoughts on the construction sector, Naya Pakistan housing scheme?
So, Naya Pakistan housing scheme is only the one part of the system. The basic issue is that Pakistan, this sector is actually inundated by the undocumented money. So the construction is the big construction is handicapped because there is no white money for the buyer and the white money for the seller. So this scheme, which is actually designed partly by me, I was not in favor of this too much amnesty, but I feel that the construction industry need to be arranged for. But I agreed to this system only for one reason, that through this scheme we are placing the black money from the plot to the houses. Am I able to explain what I'm saying? At the moment, the black money is parked in plots, and we have made plots unviable and the housing viable. So by that modern transfer, we are bringing activity in the economy. I agree this is not a good idea to give amnesty for the construction, but at the moment the whole money is lying in the plot sector, in the open plots. We have made plots very expensive and very not viable, and houses viable. So that is the change in the paradigm. But I feel that the impetus which I expected is not coming in. I have asked the Naya Pakistan Housing's chief, General Haider Saab, ke usko thoda propagate karen. The things are not in the right order as far as the communication is concerned. But on the housing side, I have a very different view from what the government is doing. There is no place in the world, including USA, where housing finance is done on a commercial basis. Pakistani government from 1990 to 2018 were the economy run by the traders and the bankers. They had no idea what development banking is. In America, anywhere in the world, housing finance is heavily subsidized for interest by the state institution, like America, Fannie Mae, and everything. So in Pakistan, we had a house building finance corporation that was spoiled by the commercial bank. If somebody consider that I can buy a house by borrowing from the government commercial bank, then it means that he does not know accounting and economics. The housing finance should be done by the government bank institutions, and it should be for low cost housing. The problem in Pakistan is not high end housing. The problem in Pakistan is low cost housing. If you see Lahore, which is the last organized government scheme made in Lahore of the lower middle class, there's none. Township maybe done one, and you are allowing this private sector to develop this scheme and Lakeview and things like that. These are not for common man. So this is not possible, and you have to when you do housing, you should also consider the way of living of the people. You cannot have a housing with the middle class Kashmiri family to live in a flat. So the way they live, they cannot live in a house. So every society has a culture. In Lahore, the flat system doesn't work. In Karachi, it works. So every city has got their own dynamics. In Lahore and things like and places like that, we should have a low class housing, and that housing should be uh, in the inside the city, not far away and in the slums, and because that provides a cultural harmony for the people, because the lower and the upper class live together. Although it looks very odd, but my recommendation is that primary education should be given to the municipal corporations like America, and there should only be one standard for primary education. N- No, there should be no discrimination in the primary education between the children of a poor man or children of a rich man. These English medium type schools should all be closed, in a sense that they should be asked if they continue, you should ask them to have a 50% poor people, because education can never be commercialized in a society like us. Like same is the case with the hospital, same is the case with private security. Let me tell you that Lahore, I know, I've been from Lahore. In Lahore, finding a first class room, a good quality room in hospital is a very big job. Don't find a good quality room in hospital in Lahore. So this is not the way the society should be run. There is the need for further, basically, the structural change in the society, and that can only be done when we work together with the academia, who are actually the independent people to decide what to do.
So what are your views on the Naya Pakistan certificate, Roshan digital account, especially when, especially
These are very minor things
so,
actually.
so,
These are
so
all. Uh,
sorry, especially when we are hearing a lot of news that overseas Pakistanis have there are job losses for overseas Pakistanis. In one way, they are losing jobs. On the other side, we're having the remittances are increased. But what are your views on the holistic view on this?
Let me tell you that the jobs in the West will cut down and the Middle East will cut down. There's no second view on that. They will cut down, and the but let me can I tell you one thing? Suppose people earn, say, argument's sake, say they earn $1,000 in Middle East altogether. Do you think the all $100,000 is sent to Pakistan? No. The upper middle class and the upper class does not send any money to Pakistan. This goes to West. Pakistani money which you receive from the remittances is from the labor class generally. Secondly, the Nia Pakistan certificate and these are all very minor attempts to attract the Pakistani funds from outside. I don't think they will have a very major impact on the Pakistan economy. They are not very relevant. But what I'm saying, I am more interested in looking at UAE economy to understand Pakistan economy. Unless and until you understand the UAE economy, you will not understand the Pakistan economy. Unless you understand how the Hawala is done and how Hawala is managed, you cannot understand Pakistan economy. So what I suggest, that if Pakistani academia is sincere, Let us make a chair in lumps and ask them to study what is hawala. I think 90% of the student will not know what is the spelling of hawala. And it is the major source of consent. And you and I both do hawala on a day-to-day basis. For example, if my sister lives in USA, she says that you pay him the other person $100, I will pay the here in $100 in Pakistan. This is hawala, simple as hawala. It can be done on a bigger scale, it can be done on a lower scale. So hawala is not something which is unique, but the hawala can only happen in a country which does not have a tax system. It can only be done in UAE. It cannot be done through America. You cannot do hawala from America. You have to do hawala from here and Dubai. So you have to understand the Pakistan economics in the real sense. The people say that FBR is a problem for the country. I say no, FBR is not a problem for the country. The problem for the country is State Bank. Problem for the country is SECP. FBR is doing right, wrong, what they are collecting. But what is the sense of State Bank of Pakistan when you can buy currency against rupee without any source, without anything? Now we have placed the borders of NTN and filer and place in the foreign currency account and send outside Pakistan. Is this a foreign exchange regulation? Then why do we need State Bank of Pakistan? If this is the state, you can go sit down in a bank, ask the foreign exchange dealer to bring the money here, dollar, deposit in your account, send it outside Pakistan, and then you say that this is an exchange control regime. This is rubbish. And for this crime, which was made from 1992 to 2018, this crime is called Protection of Economic Reform Act. This crime can never be forgiven to the people who introduced it. It was a crime. It is a crime. It is a state-sponsored corruption.
So can you elaborate on your recent idea about amalgamation of regulatory authorities under one flag? Do we have any such examples around the world?
In UK, America, everywhere, in every country, there is like this. The question is very simple. Investigation of financial crime. Who will do it? Let's put it like simple question. Who will do an investigation of a white collar crime? FIA, NAB, FBR.
FMU.
Who will do it? State Bank of Pakistan. Who will do it? Investigation of a white collar crime. Simple as that. Who will do it? Who will decide that this bank should be liquidated, this should be not liquidated? This is a specialized job. This is not a banking job. This is a financial regulatory authority job. And financial regulatory authority has to be there. It is simple as that. NAB is the execution body of the crime which has already been done. NAB is not an investigative body. Should not be an investigative body. Because even in NAB, in Panama case, what happened? There was a GIT led by the FIA people. Am I right? So are you saying that FIA people should be doing financial investigations? Simple question is this. Are you saying that a judge sitting on the bench should question the people about the financial issues and entries, debit and credits? The simple logic is there because we love the story at the night in the television, in the what we call main hour. Otherwise there is no sense of a financial crime investigation by anyone who is not a qualified person in that field. FIA, yes, FIA should do it. Then FIA should make a proper investigation department, not manned by the civil servants. Today he is a director FIA, yesterday, tomorrow he is a chairman FBR, then he becomes secretary finance, then he becomes secretary. This will not happen. This cannot happen. The present deputy chairman of FIA, NAB, I think he was in police department. The chief is from the judiciary department. They are trained, very nice, very honest people. But are they trained for financial investigation? So this is a simple logic, and people will not. I can assure you, people will not listen it. People will not understand it, but we will continue saying it because we feel that it is necessary. And second, my view on that thing is that it should not be nearer to. There should be a fence between Islamabad and the authority. No person from Islamabad should be allowed to enter that authority, because Islamabad is a place which is called a salt mine. When anything is placed in a salt mine, it becomes salt.
Okay. Sir, will Pakistan come out of the grey list of FATF in 2021?
2021, June 21.
Sir, yeah. Will Pakistan come out of the grey list?
I am almost sure about December 21, but I will not be too sure about June 21, but sure about December 21, because the problem people don't understand about the FATF. The biggest issue of the for FATF for their side is that they want prosecution against people we have actually taken into account. We don't prosecute the people; we just arrest the people, and the cases are not decided. So I think the thing now there has been some prosecutions. So I think that bigger issue has been resolved, and we will be out by sure by December 2021. But June, I'm slightly concerned, may not be.
Okay. And sir, you just touched upon Chinese investment in Pakistan. What are your views and thoughts about CPEC? CPEC.
Just tell me one Chinese investment in Pakistan. Just give me one company of China working in Pakistan.
So they're mostly loans based. They're not.
Simple as that. You know, the Chinese model of investment is different from the Western model. The CPEC is a very reasonable project for Pakistan as far as the development of transshipment port for Gwadar. And it made a lot of logical sense. And it will be successful. But if we consider that the Chinese industry, which is located in Shenzhen province, will be relocated in Pakistan, then we don't know both the countries. So there are two parts of CPEC. One is G2G, other is B2B. I think the G2G is 11 billion and B2B is 30 billion, something like that. I am 100% sure that the G2G will go on and will be successful. And I am very, very pessimistic about B2B. Very, very pessimistic. B2B will not happen. And B2B, in my view, should not happen, I would say. I think B2B should not happen. What is the sense of B2B? Do you want textile mills to be owned by Chinese? Do we have less textile spindles? Do you want knitting and hosiery done by Chinese companies in Faisalabad? I don't know what we are. What we are saying. I don't know. I don't understand. I never understood. There was a seminar by the Dawn in CPEC where I made a speech. I said I don't understand what is meant by this CPEC industrial units. What does it mean? Yes, you can have a zone, something like that. But what do you mean? Are you saying that you will be having a zone somewhere in Loralai where the people will have industry? Are you serious? Leaving aside Gujranwala and Loralai, people put the factories in Loralai or Job or the Todero. This doesn't make any sense. Chinese will not put it there. Nobody will put it there. So the question is that the transport, yes, okay, fair enough. That the everything is okay. That is right. CPEC is it's a built road is to be built, and that's good. But on which sector on a B2B I will be with China? I am very concerned about it. I don't know. Actually, I cannot visualize any sector. For example, they are already there in telecom. Yes, that is okay. But that is not nothing to do with CPEC. It is a common commercial investment. And when the Chinese will find that the commercially it is viable, they will come in. When they find the commercially not viable, they will go. So the question is whether what I'm saying, when you go to G2G, okay, fair enough. But when you go to B2B, it's a commercial discussion. That's all. and commercial decision will be on their basis. And let me tell you, Chinese economy is will change will have to go through a passage in 2020 to 21 to 25, because are working they were working in an expansionary phase. Now they are so big that they have to go to regulatory phase. And what will be the result of Chinese expansionary phase? Regulatory phase is very different. It's still 90% of the Chinese banking is done by state-owned bank. What is the status of those banks? We don't know. We don't know whether they are viable banks or not viable banks. So it's a different story. We are a very small player. We are a very small players. We are a very small part of the world economy. So let us not place too much hopes on somebody else. So if we feel the CPEC will turn around the Pakistan economy, and this is the something which will turn the Pakistan's position, I don't buy those ideas. It's nothing to do with us. Yeah, our road from Gilgit to Gwadar, I don't know what relationship it may have with Lahore, on the west side of the Indus River.
Okay. So my final question would be, where do you think Pakistan would be in year 2025?
Not very fundamentally different. It will be almost the same. But I think the political polarization will finish. The political polarization will finish. And this civilian and military polarization will also be finished, because we had enough of it. We had enough of this. Whether Pindi is doing something or Islamabad is doing something, the things are now not. It is not possible in the present day. The things remain vague. Things will be very clear. The Pakistan army is a Pakistan army, is not Indian army. So they are our own people. They are not alien. So the question is that whatever we decide, we should decide with consensus. They are a relevant party, and things will. So this polarization and this political polarization will go away, and the people will Pakistan will substantially, the economics of Pakistan will not substantially change, because too short a time. We will have a growth rate of something like 3 to 4%. We will not have a exchange growth rate plus 5% anyway. Population will increase. Things will become slightly difficult, but if we continue working on the philosophy which has been adopted after 2018, then we have a future. And my answer to this is very, very simple: make in Pakistan. My answer is make in Pakistan. If Pakistan cannot afford imported goods, because of the fundamental reason that we don't have any exportable surplus. So when you don't have exportable surplus, so you have to use your own products. You cannot afford consumer base society. So you have to something different. But the problem is that the knowledge of the real economics is very low in the common man in Pakistan. Common man, I know, sorry, not common man, but the people who are seen as economists. I have just sent a message in my tweet that please remove the word reform from Pakistan vocabulary. We have used it so much that it has lost its significance. Police reform, civil service reform, FBR reform, and the reform means that everything which is done is now useless, and you will start again, and you will never start. So simple as that. The word reform should be taken out from our dictionary. That is no reform. Let us do what we are doing. Let us do what we are doing, whatever we are doing. Simple as that. No, don't go for reforms.
Okay. I think that's about it, sir. Thank you very much for your time. You've been very kind to give us our, positive views about Pakistan's economy, the risks facing to Pakistan economy, and I'm sure we'll be having a Pakistan versus on a good track. And thank you once again for joining